What's going on, everybody out in the YouTubes? Welcome back to the last Callout podcast. As I mentioned in the last video, frankly, not 100% certain what this channel is going to evolve to. But the one thing that I was adamant about is that it is going to be just genuine. That being said, and I'm really comfortable with awkward silences, so bear with me. I find myself over the past few weeks being feeling very conflicted. So Chris Williamson, and I believe when he stated this, that he was parroting something that Alex Hormozy talked about, and that is the lonely chapter. And the significance of the lonely chapter is you've started this journey of personal growth, and you no longer resonate or are aligned with your old friends because you're growing as a person, yet you're not compatible with the people that you would ideally like to befriend or have in your circle because they're potentially several levels ahead of you in whatever that may be or whatever that status may be in life. So you find yourself in this odd vacuum called the lonely zone or the lonely chapter. And you don't really resonate or align with the people you were friends with before, so you can't connect with them as you used to. And well, the people that you'd like to align with are out of reach. So it's a very slow and sometimes depressing chapter or several chapters of one's life when they're seeking or striving and feel like they're not arriving. And when I started my personal growth journey in 2012 or 13-ish, when I was first introduced to this concept and the Zig Ziglars and Les Browns and E.T., the hip hop preacher, and Jim Rohn and other profound minds in the personal growth and self-development space like John Maxwell, the list goes on and on. When I was introduced to these people, it was a very pivotal but challenging moment for me because I could no longer associate with the people that I used to because either one, they were victims, they were battery drainers, not chargers, or we just weren't on the same journey. What I found is over time, as I've continued to evolve and grow as a person, that I've had to discontinue relationships that I had in the past because we continue to grow increasingly more unaligned from each other. We're no longer our behaviors are no longer congruent. We no longer resonate with that old relationship, that old person. So where am I going with this other than aimless ramblings of a madman, right? So in this lonely chapter of your life, which could be years. And I find myself in that paradigm right now where I've been in the lonely chapter since 2000 and roughly 15 and have accomplished great things in business, in life, in personal growth, and in my investments. Great things. Yet those that I would aspire to have meaningful relationships with are still several steps ahead of me. So I'm not even on their radar, nor have I earned the right to be. But there's one thing that I've found lately that's very scary, and I had to check myself, and this was just within the past couple days. And I wrote down a thought, and it's this. So it's don't chase, be yourself, and all that's meant to be aligned with you will find you. Now, there's the law of Goya. So the law of attraction, what you focus on expands. But then there's the law of Goya, which is get off your ass. These things, improvement and goals don't just happen. They don't just appear. You've got to get up and do the hard work of it. As I believe it was Thomas Edison stated, opportunities are commonly missed because they're dressed in overalls and they look like hard work. So we can't just sit in the corner of a room and woo-woo and meditate ourselves into millionaire status and a portfolio of cash flowing assets that create generational wealth for us. You have to get up and do some hard work. and it's going to be a grind. But in the lonely chapter, what we have to be very vigilant and diligent of is not starting to chase others and relationships with people that we truly aren't aligned with or congruent with and are not on the trajectory or path that we are in our personal growth journey. What do I mean by that? In the day and age in which we live, in the social media highlight reel, sensationalism, polarization, it's all too easy to see what people put out into the world on social media and perceive that as us lacking or being inferior to and not having that. So therefore, maybe we should have a connection with that person or those people or those things. But then when you take a very introspective look or hard look and you stare nakedly, as Tom Bilyeu says, at your inadequacies or deficiencies, not in a negative way, but you really look at yourself and say, why do I feel the need to chase this person? As I said, what I self-discover is that the reason that I was chasing those people really goes back to this lonely chapter. And in this lonely chapter, it can become very confusing. And as I mentioned before, depressing, that to the point where you may want to revert or deviate from the path. And you may want to start to align yourselves with those that aren't on the same path and the same journey of growth and development and goals and aspirations and long-term vision. So this 10-minute video now is for those that are on the path, that are in the lonely chapter, to know that you're not alone. As somebody that's been on the journey for over 10 years now of personal growth, you're not alone. And don't lose sight of what it is, what your goals are, because it's the second that we take our eye off those goals and our hyper focus upon them that we fall into the complacency or the highlight reel of, we become entranced by the highlight reel of social media and what others are putting out. And we will start to perceive those that have zero alignment with who we hope to be. We start finding ourselves attracted to that because maybe they're getting attention that we think we want. When the reality of it is, you have a path, you have goals, you have systems in place. You have as Napoleon Hill mentioned, a wild, burning desire to accomplish something. Don't lose sight of it. And then also realize that you're sufficient in it of yourself. You are who you need to be. And if you continue to be yourself, as I mentioned earlier, all that is meant, and you're continuing to move down the path, you are an aggressive student of your personal growth and your journey. It's when you're taking those proactive, disciplined steps every single day to the micro progress that you make on a daily basis, that those that are aligned with you will find you, and you don't have to chase them, because what you chase ultimately flees. So if you're aligned with it and it's aligned with you, it will find you. Don't chase. The lonely chapter will come to an end, and you will be grateful for who it is that you are on the other side. Love y'all. Be good.